Okay, back again. I feel like we're learning quite a bit here overall. We feel less armored. Largely just because, I don't know, I feel like we're actually getting somewhere. Looks like we can go north, south, east, and west. We came from the north. Let's go back up north just to make sure there's nothing we missed. Yeah. So we come out of that stairwell and then we go south and find ourselves in a room that's a plus sign. We already came from the north. So let's try going to the east. It's difficult to do all this in your head, trying to figure out where you are. It looks like we can continue to go east here. What's our level? Level is 3. I feel like we should probably gain a level or 2 here. So let's pick a fight with some of these lizards. Okay. We gain another level. Let's try and gain just one more. And see where that takes us. We're actually going to burn through our MP here, aren't we? Now there's this lizard's tail, but I don't know what the point of it is. Can we eat the tail? Oh gosh, we ate the tail. Guys, we ate the lizard tail. I don't know how I feel about that. That might come back to get us. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see if we can find a way to increase our mana regeneration. Your character's mana is an attempt to quantify mental concentration and the ability to channel magical energy. In general, spells will require mana, as well as some skills which require concentrated effort. As you progress in level, so too will your mana supply. How much your mana increases is a function of your character's intellect, wisdom, and class. Additionally, your casting cost will often go down as a character advances in level. Has ours gone down? Immolate used to cost 15. Nope, still costs 15. Whoa. We learned something called burnout. And detect invisibility. What's burnout? Burnout. Major fire curative? Minimum cost 30 mana. Recast delay 3 hours. The spell drastically increases the regenerative capabilities of the caster, tripling their hit point regeneration. After the spell expires, however, the caster will find their regeneration halved as their body recuperates from the massive expenditure of energy. Interesting. Whoop, sorry, bumping the mic there. Yeah, that's all actually really interesting, because that almost seems to suggest that the fire mages, or scholars I should say, fire scholar seems to have the option of perhaps going more of a physical combative route. In my mind, Talaris was just going to be a fire slinging maniac, but this would suggest that there's the possibility of playing a fire mage that uses spells more as buffs than actual straight up killing tools. Cool stuff. Well, we don't really want to learn burnout since it doesn't really expand our game plan. Our goal really isn't to heal in combat, it's just to live through our armor and then burn people. But hey, let's continue to take a look at perhaps. So we did help mana. How do we restore mana? Help rest, maybe. No. Changing positions. These commands change your position. When you rest or sleep, you regenerate your stuff faster. However, you are more vulnerable to attack. If you sleep, you won't hear many things happen. Sit can be used to sit on the floor or in conjunction with furniture. Stand or wake comes back to a standing position. You can also wake other sleeping characters. Characters with natural methods of flying can use the fly and land command. Okay. So we can sit to, let's see. No, we need to rest. So if we rest, we'll restore our stats quicker. Let's try that. We'll just rest. You rest. Okay. Can we stand? You stand up. Okay. Good gravy. You feel less armored, although it does appear that our mana seems to be regenerating a bit quicker. I wish there was a counter or something that told us when our mana is coming back. What if we sleep? What if we just sleep here? You go to sleep? Oh my goodness. We're just snoozing? What if we wake? Can we wake? You wake and stand up. You just instantly have the ability to wake and stand up. Okay. Alright. I suppose we carry on our merry way. I suppose perhaps there's an argument to be made for not blowing through all of our MP in a single fight. There's no real need to immediately. We have become better at dagger. Interesting. We need to check our dagger stats after this combat. But yeah, we're never really in any immediate danger here. So it's not like it's a terrible thing if we just let our character flail and stab this lizard to death. Alright, we need to look up the keyword pitiful. Help pitiful. No help on that word. Alright, that's fine. Perhaps we simply need to... Alright. Okay, dagger 41%. So that does support the idea that to truly min-max your character, you could run on these ridiculous 1% and hope over the course of an insane amount of time that you gain 1%, and then another 1%, and then another 1%, and you save your practices in order to convert them later into trains, and then train your core stats. I don't know how I feel about that. Whatever, I know I've mentioned it before, so we'll move on. Seems we have learned something called Firekin. Not sure what that is. Firekin is automatic. It is a major fire defensive skill. Firekin offers a reduction in fire damage taken from all sources. This reduction will not be evident to the scan spell. The long experience with fire that it represents also grants the scholar an improved chance to save against smoke, consume, and brimstone ward. Furthermore, it will obviate all penalties associated with the haste effect, including but not limited to that granted by the living flame spell. Obviate. Obviate. What does that word even mean? Obviate means remove, avoid, or prevent. Okay. Well, let's continue going to the west, since that was the direction we were headed. Okay, this area apparently serves as a point of intersection between the two hallways of the floor, with one going east and west and the other going north and south. Okay. Well, let's kill another lizard. Bless me. This seems going north might be a good idea. Oh, gosh darn it. We're back the way we came. We must have been heading east. Okay, let's continue to head east. East. It seems we found ourselves in a dead end. I figure a good cadence is probably to explore this area, kill a lizard or two, and then continue to explore, since our MP will come back as we do that. That way we don't have to waste time resting. Yeah, we are no bueno with this dagger. It's more than likely that as we progress further along in the game, we probably won't even be able to rely on the dagger to kill things. Okay, so the east path led to a dead end. Let's check the west path. Oh, it's just immediately a dead end. Alright, that only leaves one route, I believe, which is simply south from the intersecting room. We'll continue to go south. And we found the stairway. So there's nothing really here on the second floor except a bunch of rooms with lizards. I think we already knew that based on, or rather that's not a big surprise, considering that the rat room was the same way. I suppose in some ways this is an MMO, or at least as the description of the game type describes, a multi-user dungeon experience. Therefore, fighting mobs will be a pretty mainstay of the game. And that's fine, I guess. It does kind of waste our time, but... Oh, We have 2,000 experience points to the next level. We are probably not going to hit 6 anytime soon. Let's just go up to the 3rd floor, I guess. Cast armor on herself. We lost concentration. We're not even in combat. Okay. We find ourselves in a glass stairwell. The glass stairwell leads upwards to the 3rd floor of the Tower of Testing. The tower itself begins a transition away from the rough-hewn stone of the tower and, butchering that. The tower itself begins a transition away from the rough-hewn stone of the lower levels toward white brick and tile, much like that of the School of Heroes. The ceilings are substantially higher than the floor below, with high glass panels that follow the stairs as they proceed further up. From here you have a pleasant but commanding view of Avendar's distant horizon, with vents letting in further fresh air from above. The stairway gets colder as it descends. A standing sign describes the trials on this floor. Okay, read the sign. The 3rd floor of the Tower of Testing is intended to introduce you to the idea of aggressive or aggro monsters. Here you will find stationary imps who will attack you when you enter the room with them. Aggressive monsters are common in many areas of Avendar and can be quite dangerous when unexpected. As well, the imps on this floor may use basic in-round damage against you. In this case, skill use. Some creatures are able to use additional abilities in battle and can be much more powerful as a result. Okay, so we're gonna have to actually defend ourselves here. The 3rd floor of the Tower of Testing is a stone tile. Okay, blah blah blah. Guess we'll have to read this later because I think an imp has decided to attack us. I have no real way of judging the strength of an imp, so we will simply continue our fight here by sprinkling in a couple immolates. We seem to just be sitting here running percentages at each other over and over. The imp actually is landing a couple hits here. We seem to be missing most of ours. Yeah, actually I don't know if we can win this fight without casting Immolate. Because all of our dagger attacks are pitiful immolation. That's disappointing. Well, the imp is in awful condition. Ah, here we go. Your mediocre immolation kills an emerald green imp. The emerald green imp is dead. We receive 525 EXP. The emerald green imp's heart is torn out of their chest. You get 4 copper coins. You get 1 silver coin. Well, let's take the heart. And you know where we're going with this, guys. We're going to eat the heart. Delicious. You eat the heart of an emerald green imp. You choke and gag. Shoot. You feel less sick. Okay, that's good. Probably wasn't wise to eat the heart of an emerald green imp. Well, now that we're not under attack, we can actually read the description here. Is this any different than the room we were in? A little bit. It says... Let's see, we'll skip to the important. The air on this floor is surprisingly clear and fresh due to better ventilation. However, it still stings the nose with the acrid scent of summoning. Scratches and the spattering of dark blood mar the floor, ceiling, and walls with the high screech of imps never far from the ear. To the south, a glass-enclosed stairwell descends to the 2nd floor, while the current one continues to the north. Perhaps we should go back to the south and see if we can just, like, sleep here. Just go to sleep. Man, we have a commanding control over our ability to just suddenly go to sleep. Your sleep grows deep and truly restful. Well, hopefully a student doesn't trip over us. What do we do while we wait? It seems that the game regenerates our mana in ticks. So perhaps... I mean, I kind of want to give like additional commands to see... Oh yeah, we are regenerating mana and HP here. We're probably also completely asleep. Which means if we were in the main room there with the imps, we could get attacked without being able to see them coming. I really wish... I'm just typing in score over and over here because I'm trying to figure out how long it takes for the next tick. Looks like about 30 seconds, maybe? Let's wake up. You are asleep yourself. Yeah, I would like to wake. You wake and stand up. I just find that to be funny. You just immediately bolt up. Maybe we can get help on ticks. Many of the game actions are based upon interval timers, including combat, most autonomous monster actions, HP, mana, move, regeneration, spell duration, weather, and area resetting. Of these timers, the HP, mana, move, regeneration timer is popularly called the tick. Ticks on this mud average 30 seconds of real time. The actual amount varies randomly from 15 seconds to 45 seconds. What the? Why? Why would it vary randomly? Is that perhaps to prevent scripting? Like, prevent someone from building a code that just automatically inputs several commands? I don't know. Okay, so that would explain the random nature of it seemed that we were gaining mana. So it's every 30 to 45 seconds. We gained about 30 each time, so about a minute and a half is the downtime we should have when fighting monsters. That's a little frustrating. I'm not sure if there needs to be a minute and a half downtime to regain mana, but again, that's how most MMOs work, so guess I'm not that surprised. Area resetting happens roughly every 3 minutes if no one is in the area, less often 15 minutes if someone is. Also note that objects lying on the ground will not be regenerated if anyone is in the area when it resets. So, okay, we feel less armored, so we'll cast armor again. We'll go back. Alas, we cannot go that way. We need to go north? Oh boy, there were 4 imps in this room. I don't know if we can actually fight 4 imps. It looks like only 1 imp is fighting us at a time. Wait, you have become better at immolate and receive 76 experience. Cool. Can we check skills in combat? Yeah. Wait, no. We need to check spells in combat. 76! A whole 76! Oh boy. It's quite possible a better strategy would be to go down a floor and grind on the lizards, perhaps. I just feel like we dump a lot of MP into these guys. Your inadequate immolation. Interesting. Oh, I thought there were multiple imps here. Apparently there was just the one. Alright, we'll take the imp heart. That's not a container. Take heart. We'll see how long this takes to decompose. Yeah, I don't know. The imps seem to just take a lot of hits. And, I don't know, we kill about 3 or 4 lizards and we're probably gaining levels, so let's go find some. We'll just let this run its course. So I didn't quite realize that MUDs would be a lot of this, and that's fine. We'll continue to play through this one because I still am very interested in the story and the plot and the lore of the world and whatnot. However, this certainly seems like the kind of game that would be really good to put on while playing like an anime. Or not playing an anime, but while watching an anime or a TV show. Definitely seems like something you could just sort of tune out while you grind. Of course, if you do that, then I guess there's a really good chance of... someone coming up and PKing you. Haven't said that word in a while. That's something we need to consider. There is quite a bit of player killing in this game. There we go. In Avendar, characters may attempt to attack and kill or PK other players' characters. While non-player characters can be attacked via the kill command, PK is typically initiated via the murder command, or with an aggressive skill or spell used against another player with the following restrictions. Characters below level 11 cannot engage in PK. Characters whose levels are significantly different cannot engage in PK. There are some exceptions, such as for when a characters are affected by spells such as Pacify, or when one character has given an oath to another. Beware that city guards in law-observant areas will assist player characters who are attacked by other PCs, and NPCs in some other places, such as bouncers in taverns, may also assist. PKing in law-observant areas may have other consequences. See the Law and Guardian help files for more information. Mechanics aside, we have PK and Avendar because we think any role-playing environment without it suffers a critical loss. Okay, we don't care about this. I remember reading this. This is just basically saying if you can't kill each other, then it's not real roleplay, which isn't necessarily untrue. Looks like there's a second help file, though. Survival. Surviving in a world where the other well-armed, vicious, and often bloodthirsty players can be a bit harried, particularly if you aren't used to it. If you put in the time and effort, though, you can learn the secrets to survival. Until then, here are a few tips to hopefully spare you some harsh lessons. Know who's out there, check who PK often, and look for people who might be out to get you. Keep in mind, though, that there are lots of other ways that another person might hide themselves without you seeing them. Be wary, always check where PK to be on your guard for people who are in your area. Just as above, though, keep in mind there are ways for people to hide themselves. Ranking, you're never more vulnerable when out getting experience points. Avoid areas that are easy to get to unless you really want to stay on your toes. Watch out especially for the places that lots of people go to rank, or that are really near town. These are the most likely to become killing fields unless you're careful. Knowledge. Knowing the terrain is one of the best ways to kill or avoid being killed, since everyone has to start small. Consider learning a few areas very well rather than knowing a very little about everything. This is particularly true of places that you might be out getting experience in, since these are the most dangerous. Preparation. Always be prepared. Be aware of all the magical aids that are out there so you can use them to your own advantage. Rather than wearing yourself down for that final kill before your group rests, don't gamble your life away by getting your health and mana down to near zero. Skilled player killers are always prepared, and you should be too. And know when to run. Avoid becoming a victim. Remember that the guy who's out there chasing you is a person too. Learn to prey on his fears and his ignorance rather than falling victim to your own. And finally, don't give up even if you got slaughtered. Think of it as a learning experience. Try to keep logs of the session and see where you went wrong or where you might have acted differently. Use this information to help you survive the next time, and keep a list of people who have gotten you in the past. You can often use your desire for vengeance as an incentive for learning the ropes. Holy crap, that's brutal. Okay. Well, said... Hold on, I want to read the beginning of that again real quick. It says, check who PK and where PK. Who PK. Players found 0. Where PK? Other in the Tower of Testing, none. We're kind of alone, guys. Actually, that's kind of a good question. I'm going to jump on avendar.net real quick and see how many people are here. Oh, that's so sad. Guys, okay. I have to move this over. Whoops. That's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Check this out. This is the Avendar website. If we zoom in here and check, currently in Avendar, there's one character, level 5, adventuring now. Most recent advancement, Talaris has reached level 5 in his guild. Feels good, man. Feels good to get recognized. You know? We're, on the page. We're on the board, guys. Alright. Well, I suppose that's something at least. So I guess we don't really have to worry about PKing. Apparently after level 10 is when it starts, but if there's no one on the server, we're totally safe, aren't we? Alright, let's continue looking around. I mean, at the end of the day, what do you lose when you PK? Or when you die, rather? Perhaps we should look that up. When you die, you'll find yourself as a ghost taken to an altar. Let me read this quickly. Your ghost will be naked, and all of your equipment and inventory will remain on your corpse. Interesting. Please keep in mind there are multiple corpses in a room. Wow, there's a lot of information here. Please note that all corpse will not retrieve everything from your body. It will take 3 items at a time. If you are completely unable to find your body, it will decay within roughly 15 minutes real time. After this, your property will return to your altar, where your ghost appeared after death. Be advised that anyone may take items from the altar. Death is a taxing experience. The first 3 deaths of your character experiences will cause a penalty of 1 to all stats for the next 24 hours after your death. Beginning with your 4th death, this penalty is raised to 2. Should you die again within this 24-hour span, the penalty is cumulative? Oh, that is brutal. I mean, that just... At that point, that just removes your ability to play the game. Once you have... Well, typos. Once you have your property, or not, and are ready to resurrect, you are able to return to a healer. Healers are always near or physically at your own altar, and there are others throughout the world as well who are able to resurrect you. To resurrect, simply use the resurrect command. You will be alive once again. Please be advised, You are not able to resurrect immediately after death. There's a brief period of time after death when you must remain a ghost. Okay. Oh, there's more. Should you remain a ghost longer than roughly 20 minutes, your constitution will start to drain. Should it reach 3, you will die again. Die again? Okay. Each person is assigned a maximum amount of deaths they might sustain, and a maximum age they might reach. Should either of these be exceeded, it will not be possible to resurrect further. However, in both cases, characters are granted sufficient to have a long and fruitful life. Dang, guys. We're on a timer. We only have so many years and so many deaths to sustain. That's intense. That's actually really cool. I mean, dang, that actually puts some weight on the player killers. Because, I mean, it's not just that they're killing you to take your gear. They're literally knocking, like, a finite number of years off of your life. Well, not years. It doesn't track in years, but it tracks in, deaths. If you die too many times, you just can't come back anymore. Pretty cool. Well, at any rate, we're level 6 now. I guess that's something. Another 2,600 EXP. I guess we just keep going. Perhaps we should attempt to go up to 7th level before going up to those green imps. Those imps were kind of tough. But we're only getting like 250 EXP here. Which means that would be quite a few lizards to kill. Wait, we're hungry? Wait, what? We're hungry? We're hungry, guys. I don't think that's ever happened. We bought like some cakes, didn't we? I see no cake here. Cake pack. Cake. You eat a ration cake. You were full. Interesting. Huh. So it's been 2 years since we started our adventure, and finally we've had to eat. Yeah, figured we need to eat eventually in the span of 2 years, but hey, you never know. It's a magical world. Maybe these guys' bodies work differently. Apparently we gain another % in immolate at some point. It seems though this is particularly unique to Avendar, or at least maybe this is unique to Muds and I'm just ignorant of them, having not played very many. But the concept of just losing your character, I mean, I know back in the day when people played, what was it, Diablo 2 on the hardest setting, that's how that worked. But that was one death and you were dead. But there was also the what was the other game that a lot of people played? EverQuest? I never played EverQuest myself or Diablo 2, but I do know that there was essentially like I think it was EverQuest. I don't actually know. Actually, I could go look that up really quick. EverQuest Permadeath. Wow, this is a forum post from 2017. People... Sorry, I happened to stumble upon a very recent post for EverQuest servers, which has me surprised, from 2017. I guess it makes sense. People are probably still playing. Anyway, it seems that EverQuest might have been the one that I was remembering, where there are permadeath servers. I seem to remember that being a case for people being afraid of video games and saying they caused violence because somebody, like, committed suicide or something because their EverQuest character died. Of course, that could just be hyperbole. That could have been just a word of mouth rumor. And, I don't know, I felt like back when we were kids, there was a lot of negativity around video games that oftentimes would be discussed as being a route to suicide. I don't know if you've ever watched the movie Mazes and Monsters, but it deals with that. It's like a terrible movie. This is a really dumb topic. I should change the topic. What were we actually talking about? Oh, just the permadeath. The permadeath function was pretty, seems really interesting in Avendar, because it means, like, can you imagine these days if you played an MMO and, you know, any of the main ones, and this idea of you dumping hundreds of hours into a character was offset by this concept that your character had a finite life. That doesn't really seem to be the formula for these days. These days, MMOs seem to be this huge, grindy gear race. I mean, what are we doing now? We're practically doing the same thing. So I can't really say, like, it's that different. But I will say that I don't think an MMO where your character actually died would be very popular. Would be my guess. I think that would really upset a lot of people. I mean, and rightfully so in some ways. Some people don't want to have the pressure of losing all of this investment that you put into something. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, because that's the case in Avendar, because this Teleris character that we're building, that we're creating, is limited, there will be a day when he is dead. We will no longer be able to play Teleris. It kind of removes... It's liberating in a way. It removes a lot of the pressure that we would otherwise have, a feeling, I don't know, like this weight of having to build a perfect character the first time, this concept of having to grab everything and just pile it into our character. The fact that Teleris will die eventually kind of actually just makes me feel like I don't care. Like, I don't need to grab everything. I don't need every single stat, every single item. And maybe that's actually why larger companies aren't interested in that kind of structure, because a lot of the monetary gain from an MMO comes from the competition between the players, and they're pressured to buy all of the outfits and have all of the gear and, you know, have the custom rare pets, and if you're into PvP, you're pressured to buy a lot of the gear grinding stuff, so that way you can have the best equipment, so that way you have the best chance of winning PvP. And if you created a situation where characters die, well, wait a minute. No, Realm of the Mad God. Realm of the Mad God actually does follow a system like that, where if your character dies, they're dead for good. And there's plenty of people who play that. Of course, it is a free-to-play game, Well, most MMOs are, aren't they? Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Realm of the Mad God essentially is a game. It's like a 2D. It's very simple to play. It's a 2D. I don't know if it's Flash. It's probably not Flash, but it looks. It's very simple graphics. Very pixelated. Characters are not high resolution or anything. You just kind of run around and shoot things. It's like a roguelike bullet time, because like enemies attack you by shooting things out, even though they're things like dragons and ghosts and stuff like that. It's still a bullet time game, and there's a bunch of different classes. They all have different abilities. It's really cool because the skill ceiling, or rather, I think that if you play it, the whole idea is you want to create this just ungodly powerful character, and because eventually, I think the max level is 20. It's not really hard to get to level 20. You could do that in a day. And once you reach that max level, there's really nothing to do grind-wise as far as like EXP, but you can go do these dungeons and quests which permanently raise your stats. So the idea at that point is basically to just go out dungeoning, and you just do whatever dungeons you want, go around killing stuff and permanently, slowly raising your character's stats. Always, though, with the threat that if you make too many mistakes and your character dies, they're gone for good. And that game is fairly successful, as far as I know, for what it does. And there's no PvP in it, I don't think. Most of the monetary transactions, the microtransactions, come from buying things that I was describing earlier, like custom pets, custom gear, that kind of stuff. You can buy a couple things that like boost your stats, that kind of stuff. But you don't have to. You can totally just play the game like normally. So yeah, I guess Avendar's setup here with the permadeath wouldn't necessarily prohibit it from being accepted by a large group of people. Probably more arguably, MUDs are just less popular because there's no visual things happening. It's kind of funny because from a mechanical perspective, what we're doing here is absolutely no different than what we would do in any other MMO. The difference is that we would be seeing our character do this. We would be seeing a large lizard's head shattered and their brains splash out. Let's eat some lizard brains. Let's take those brains. We'll eat those brains. You eat the brains of a large lizard. You are nearly full. Oh. Gross. We actually do want to eat the lizard brains because that keeps us from going hungry. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even consider that. We're pretty close to level 7 here. 1 or 2 more lizards should do it. But yeah, certainly the learning curve in Avendar has made it difficult. I'm sure that you guys, for any of you that have actually watched this far, congratulations, you have a lot of patience, or you just turned it on while you're at work or doing something boring, and that's perfect use of this Let's Play. But, shoot, where was I going with that? I was just going to say that the text-based nature of the game requires a lot more patience, because everything isn't visual. It's not as exciting. Okay, let's take a look here. We were promoted, we gained a bunch of stuff. Large lizard heart is torn out of their chest. We are thirsty? Wait a minute, hold up, we're thirsty? I didn't think this would actually be relevant, but we took some water. from the fountain. Cool. We drink water from the earthen jug. We're full. Look in jug. It's about half filled with water. Put jug in pack. Close pack. I love that interaction. That's fun. Actually specifying each little piece of what we do. Alright. We are level 7 now. 20 practices. 11 trains. Now, what specifically can trains be used for? I know they can raise our core stats. Okay, train increases one of your attributes. It takes one training session to improve an attribute or to increase mana or HP by 10. You receive 1 session per 5 levels. Ooh, that's very little. What you could train depends greatly on your character. So actually, then, even though we have 11 trains, that seems like a lot. It's actually not, is it? Okay, I think the max level in Avendar is like 45. We already hit 5 of those. We have 40 left, which means 40 divided by 5 is 8. I think that's right. 5 times 8 is 40. So we have 8 more. Goodness. We have 8 more trains left. Or rather 19 once we add it to the 11 that we already have. So 25 is the max. So we could just plan out where we want to put these. What does charisma do? Magical songs. So charisma is the bard stat. Charisma also impacts luck. Furthermore, certain aggressive monsters may hesitate to attack you when confronted by a particularly charismatic individual. Interesting. It also changes haggling. Also, a leader of a group, and I believe when multiple players get together, they can start forming groups. If the leader has high charisma, the party will receive bonuses. That's really cool. I mean, I think a lot of time charisma is listed as this thing that it's supposed to be about personality and leadership, but very rarely does it actually come into play as an actual leadership ability. And the fact that if your leader in the group has high charisma, everyone gets a bonus, that's really cool. I mean, we're not going to take it because we're probably just going to be playing alone forever alone. But as a concept, that's really neat. What does Constitution do? Constitution is health and vigor. Oh, it's just health. Literally just health, and then how much health we heal per hour of resting. Alright, well, that's fairly self-explanatory. What does Dex do? Okay. Armor class, hit roll, and the number of items we can carry. That's not particularly useful to us. What's wisdom do? Wisdom measures intuition, creativity, ability to make generalizations. So wisdom is saving throws. Okay, also not useful to us. I'm a little confused because our stats seem to be changing. Do you see there in parentheses our intelligence is lower at 17 and our wisdom for some reason is higher? I'm not entirely certain why any of that is happening. What if we remove the shield and then check our score? No, that doesn't change it. Can you guys hear that? There's like a bunch of sirens going on outside. If the mic is picking it up, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have 19 points. Assuming 18 is our actual intelligence, we probably want to end with 25 in int. So 7 of those 19 points are going into int, which leaves us with 12 left. Strength do. Physical strength, deal more damage, carry more, wield heavier weapons, typical. Int affects mana and the effectiveness through which we learn skills and spells. So the base stats are important, but not the only thing that matters. It seems actually that there might be an argument that after a certain point of gaining stats, you would simply want to dump your stats into HP or mana. In fact, those stats matter, but they aren't everything, because none of them seem to affect... I guess what I'm trying to say is, if your int is high, you're going to be a good wizard. You don't really need strength, wiz, dex, or con, or charisma. It's not going to matter. You can still cast spells. You can still do your thing. The other stuff is just extra. Like, sure, the extra dodge from dex would be nice, but you don't need it. Sure, the extra saving throws from wisdom would be nice, but you don't need it. You don't even need strength, really. Because it's like, how many times are we going to actually, like in dire situations, how many times are we going to be relying on our strength? More than likely, we're going to be relying on our mana. Okay. Enough talking. We'll carry on. Go back up to the imp room, and immediately an imp attacks us. We'll go ahead and throw out a couple immolates here. How's our dagger skill looking like, actually? 44%, we've gained 4%. Not too bad. Okay, so probably would help if we familiarize ourselves with the combat logs. It says, so all the combat logs start with the enemy's attack. Then it goes to our attack. And then it gives us a description of their HP. So nasty wounds and scratches must be one of the stages of health. Have we actually hit? Yes, a pitiful stab harms the emerald green imp. So we do have the ability to hit this thing. It just doesn't seem very likely. I don't think we've actually successfully hit it since that last strike. Perhaps the imps are rather evasive. And the imp is slowly getting hits in on us. So yeah, we can't really rely on the dagger. We just aren't hitting it at all. And then it says here, the green imp barely dodges your attack, which would suggest to me that that was reliant upon their agility rather than our ability to hit. Yeah, we're losing this fight without casting Immolate. Wow, we keep losing our concentration. Okay. And there we got it. Don't know if that's worth a bit more EXP though. We lose so much more HP and MP doing that. Although there is an imp leg here. Of course we're going to take that imp leg. And then we're going to eat that imp leg. You eat the leg of an emerald green imp. You are full, you choke and gag. You feel less sick. So, if we have to fight our way through here, I just don't know how much more we can actually increase our power. Should we attempt to go back and buy more equipment? There was the white satchel. I just feel like levels alone aren't actually getting us stronger. They're gaining us... What do levels actually get? Levels gain you practices. Occasionally they gain you trains, which on their own actually do nothing for your character. What else do we get for it? We get HP, MP, movement. Is that it though? So we don't actually get anything that directly influences our ability to end the combat. Think about it. Combat only ends when we can deal enough damage to our enemy. Oh wait, of course. Perhaps we learn an additional spell. Inflame. Okay, what's that? When used on a character, the spell imbues its target with an inner fire, markedly improving their damage roll and saves. It is not possible to cast immolation upon a target who is currently fighting. Immolation? I think that probably was supposed to say inflame, because we definitely can cast immolation on a target who's fighting. When used on an object of light type, the spell increases the duration of the light remaining. The object need not be held in the inventory, it may be simply in the room with the caster. Objects that are not of the type light may not be targeted by this spell. Something that is simply glowing is not sufficient. This spell was at one point taught in guilds as immolation. Oh. Well, interesting. That probably explains the typo. Because it is no longer being used as immolation. It is simply a inflame spell. Minor Fire Benediction. It is a stat boosting spell. It's a touch annoying. We don't really want stat boosting spells. We want something that kills an enemy faster. Markedly improving their damage roll and saves. Well, improving our damage roll, I suppose, is nice, but the problem is we're not actually hitting the imps in the first place. So improving our damage roll does really nothing to change the combat. Bit frustrating. Do we learn anything else? At level 8 we learn warmth. That doesn't sound particularly useful. Now, what are the stats on immolate? Let's figure out how this works. Spell lights a target on fire. In addition to the initial burst of damage, being on fire will rapidly damage the target over time. Furthermore, should the target fail a save, they will be painfully burned and incur additional damage each half hour that passes by for the duration of the spell. Well, our fights probably aren't lasting a half hour, are they? Wait a minute, that might be in-game time. Interesting. Well, let's see what slow burn is. Slow burn is an automatic major fire skill. Sufficiently skilled fire scholars learn to prolong the effects of their spells. First and foremost, the fires set by the immolate spell will last longer. Second, their area of effect spells will also immolate those caused caught in the blast. Thirdly, when immolate ends, the lingering smoldering wounds will severely hinder the victim's ability to heal. Finally, consuming wounds such as those left by immolate will reignite themselves more effectively. Yikes. When do we learn slow burn? Oh, it's not a spell, I bet. It's probably a skill. Oh, we don't learn that until level 41. That's not happening anytime soon. However, we did learn this meditation skill. What is that? Take a look at meditation here. Basic technique used for focusing one's thoughts. Meditation is a skill taught by all guilds. Their students may recover mana more quickly. Oh, we definitely want that. Wait, trance? What is a trance? Help trance. A further refinement upon the more widely taught basic technique of meditation, trance is taught by the spellworking guilds and those focused on more meditative studies in order to better recover their mana. Do we learn trance? Yeah, at level 20 we learn it. It says we're thirsty. We'll have to drink more. Okay. Well, that's actually really good information to know. Nope, sorry again. We learned second attack. This is just odd. I'm starting to wonder if I'm actually going to build our character poorly. Because it seems like the fire wizards are way more about, like, healing and being this unstoppable burning wrath of death. What is cunning wisp? With the skill of Fire Scholar, we'll be able to turn to smoke and avoid melee attacks. Interesting. Apparently it's just an automatic thing. Just a bonus we get at level 12. Wings of Flame. Scan. Evoke Hatred. Deny Entropy. Smoke. Lambent Aura Shield. Jaziji's Fade. You know, it really doesn't seem like we actually learn any other combat spells. Except for Immolate. Which has me scratching my head as to how we actually do this. How does our character function? What does his kit do? It appears that they really don't rely... Well, here at level 21 we learn Beam of Fire. That seems combative. Spell unleashes a concentrated beam of flame on its target, dealing damage. Yeah, okay. So we learn our fair share of fire spells. It's just we don't learn them until like halfway through our leveling. Beam of Fire, Baptism of Fire. 39 we learn Elemental Flame. That sounds strong. Okay. So I guess we can focus on damage. It's just that early on, all of our damage is going to be coming from Immolate. So how do we increase Immolate's ability? Well, we could just cast it over and over again. That increases its ability, but the problem is it also increases the mana cost. Wait, didn't we learn something about meditate? No, not spell skills. Right, here we go. Wands, Firekin Scrolls, Meditation. Perhaps we should go train the meditation skill. Well, we can do that next time we're down there. No, we should go down now. Because we could also go... We've acquired quite a bit of loot. 9 gold, 11 silver. So, let's go back to the White Satchel. And Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember where we are and follow the pathing correctly. Let's go back to the White Satchel, see if we can gear up on anything good. We should also fill up our jug at this fountain, so we'll drink from the fountain. Okay, we filled up our jug as well as drank from the fountain. Okay, and I believe the Hall of Arms is where we need to go. Let's go check out the weapon desk. Apparently she can give us a dagger, axe, flail, mace, polearm, spear, or sword, staff, or whip. However, we are really only trained with the dagger, so I don't really see a point in buying any other weapon. That's fine. Didn't really expect to be able to find anything. We don't need to go to the forge. Nothing has broken. Let's check the armory. Okay. I suppose we could buy a chainmail shirt, helmets, leggings, among other things. Is there a disadvantage to buying these? I think the thing we figured out is that it would encumber our movement. But I don't know if armor actually wins us the fight. Armor doesn't, and encumbering our movement might actually be a bad thing. Yeah, I'm just really not sure. Again, armor doesn't help us win the fight quicker, so it doesn't actually help our problem. Our problem is we're just not dealing a lot of damage to the imps. And she sells cakes, wafers, packs, a wooden canoe, which always surprises me, fire kit, pendant, and a roll of maps. This person doesn't really help us either. Unfortunately, I'm not really seeing any obvious ways to increase our ability to fight. Oh, Cheedock wants to give us a job. Yeah, sure. We'll take his job. Oh, Cheedock wants us to go get those rat tails. That's right. So I guess we'll go do that for him. There's also the Traveler's Purse here, which we could deposit some of our money. But I don't really see a point to it, so... Okay, I guess there really wasn't anything there useful we could do. However, we will train our meditation. Or practice our meditation. Okay, we can now use meditation, which, if I understand correctly, should make our mana come back quicker, which will be at least something, right? It will help us maintain a level of spell casting that we need. I don't really see anything else here that would directly assist us. We could practice the dagger, I suppose, or train the dagger. I wanted to let it level up naturally, but perhaps it's not really worth our time. So, practice dagger. We are now learned at dagger. Seems good. We'll head back to the tower and continue trying to fight those imps. Wait, how are we on the first floor? Thought we went up. I think I got turned around. Here we go. Back with the imps. Still only 77 on Immolate. But I suppose that's fine. I don't really see a reason not to just dump Immolates into them, because that's the only way we're going to win these fights. Oh, we increased our skill at immolating. Oh, is there nothing here? Oh wow, we had a big queue of spells that we needed to cast. I suppose I should pay more attention to that. Cast the spells a little slower. Steaming pile of emerald green imps entrails is lying here. Tasty. Let's not eat that for the time being. You know, actually, Cheedak wanted us to get some rat tails, so now that I think about it, we should go get those for him. That was a very quick rat kill. Alright, we'll take the tail. And from there, we should be able to... Should be able to go to Cheedak and get him his stuff. I don't... keep pushing. I keep going the wrong direction here. Here we go. Okay, we'll finally finish Cheedak's quest here. What? Wait, I thought... Alright, he's... sorry, I should really read this aloud. Cheedak responds, "You won't? You won't? That's no way to advance." "No, it's not, but I'm sure someone else will come along soon." I thought we had the rat tail in our inventory. I typed complete, but he acts as if we just didn't want to do it. Give rat tail? Give tail Cheedak? You give the tail of an oversized rat to Cheedak, but unfortunately it's not recognizing that we have accomplished anything, so unfortunately we must have triggered the quest incorrectly, and so it's not going to work. But that's disappointing. That's okay. We'll get it on the next time. We're getting very good at navigating this, I feel like. Very good might be the wrong description. We're at least gaining some sort of familiarity. My problem is I keep getting south and down and north and up mixed up. Okay, we'll just regain back to our max mana, which I believe is like 180? 183. If a tick averages at 30 seconds, we'll have to wait another 30 seconds before we hit max. Unless, of course, perhaps I should wake. And can we meditate? You meditate, softly chanting to yourself. Okay. So I guess we can meditate. How fast does it happen, though? I'm always just kind of stuck at a loss here. So perhaps the advantage of meditating is that we are able to stay awake while we meditate. I don't know if that's useful though, because resting seemed to actually increase mana faster. So it's a trade-off, I suppose. Meditation allows you to remain awake and vigilant of perhaps dangerous mobs or perhaps even player killers, whereas sleep increases these stats quicker, but prevents you from seeing anything around you. Yeah, look how long this is taking. Okay. Well, we'll continue our imp fighting. I'm a little unimpressed by Meditate's effectiveness. Especially considering that Immolate is really the only method we have for fighting. Okay, but we did win. We're still quite a ways off from gaining level 8. Let's just continue to go north. This seems to just be a hallway going north and south, filled with imps. The imps continue to attack us. I don't know if we have any response other than just casting more fire at them. We're not taking damage at any alarming rate. It truly is just a lack of ability to damage the imp back. We'll just... An imp arm was dropped. We'll eat the arm. Take arm. Eat arm. Perhaps we should meditate here. You shiver and suffer. Oh no. We choked and gagged on the arm of an imp, and now we're shivering and suffering. Perhaps we should sleep. We're still shivering and suffering. Our sleep is growing deep and truly restful, though. Let's see if there's any help files on sickness. None that I can find. We feel less sick. We are now ready to perform another task for Ichiaj Chidok. Well, that's good. I noticed that while we were sick, our MP and HP were not raising very quickly at all. Actually, our MP only raised 10 there. Perhaps meditation is better than I thought. Wait, we're already standing? I thought we were sleeping. Maybe that's why our MP wasn't restoring as quickly. Alright, we need to track this, right? We have 50. So let's see what happens after about 1 tick. I assume when our sleep becomes truly restful, that is when a tick has occurred. Which again, apparently on average takes between 15 and 45 seconds, so around 30 seconds. It's a long time to wait, that's for sure. This is not sleeping music. Are we not? Have we done something wrong? We're not becoming truly rested. I suppose we'll wake and try meditating. Okay, so we're at 89. We waited about 30 seconds. I should probably start timing this. Okay, I'm gonna wait about 50 more seconds here. Because essentially what we wanted to do is try and get a feel for exactly how useful is meditating versus resting. Oh, we're attacked. Well, shoot. We like didn't gain anything from that. And yet again, most of our stabs are missing. This imp. We're almost out of MP. Oh good, we managed to kill it with a stab. At least we're at 80 on Immolate. Okay. What are the pieces we need to put together now? Meditation is not the fix that I was hoping it would be. Let's see here. I'll track in 50 seconds. I'll unmeditate and see if I can figure out how much mana we actually restore. Perhaps we're being far too afraid with our trains. Perhaps we need to train our intelligence. Now each spell corresponds directly to one or more of the core stats. Strength, I believe, was actually one of them, interestingly enough. Perhaps that means we need to raise other stats in order to become more effective in combat. We only have 5 more seconds. Okay, let's check this out. We gained what seems to be a paltry 40, no, not even 40, 35 MP in the span of about 50 seconds. That's terrible. Okay, so let's sleep, and I will time us for another 60 seconds and see. So we started out at 50, and let's see how much MP we gain after about a minute. Look at that, we already gained 27. I'm starting to think sleeping is actually just more effective. Like, meditation is not really that good. Again, it's probably more useful if we were worried about someone PKing us, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Well, it's not going to happen. We're not level 11. We're also not, we're like the only person on the server for the time being, so. And 5 more seconds. So we gained about, we gained more. We certainly gained more. It was about 58 as compared to the, what? How much did we gain the other time? 35. Still, though, the problem is, by the time we wake up, the imp has respawned. Our paltry immolation. Why is our immolation paltry? We're a damn trained wizard here. We should know what we're doing. Oh well. Well, that fight seemed to go a bit better. We're just not really making any progress here. This is the problem. I kept hoping by resting we would inevitably restore more magic than we were losing, but we're not. So I think we're gonna have to go south. We're gonna escape. Flee. Flee is what we need to do. Okay, we were able to flee. Alright. Let's check the stats on Immolate again. See here. It says primary attribute, intelligence and strength. Primary attributes of a skill or spell are the attributes which determine the effectiveness of practicing that ability at your guildmaster. If a skill has 2 primary attributes, the effectiveness is a function of the average between the 2 attributes. Oh. So, increasing our attributes, or rather the primary attributes of the skill or spell, does not actually increase the effectiveness of that spell. It simply increases the percent that we learn from the guildmaster. That's actually not helpful at letting us deal more damage. Alright. Does intelligence give us a boost to damage? Your intelligence influences your current mana, the effectiveness of various spells, along with the effectiveness through which you learn those spells. So, perhaps it does say the effectiveness of various spells. I don't know. It's hard to know whether that means it actually increases the damage or not. You have all this armor. Our alignment is true neutral. I'm at a loss. I can't actually figure out a way to directly influence our ability to meaningfully impact the combat here. I mean, our mana takes so long to come back. Our movement doesn't seem to matter. Maybe we have all these movement points. What do the movement points even mean? It represents our stamina in traveling long distance. Okay, so apparently there might be heavy terrain later that requires more movement. But as it stands now, our movement has never really been an issue. We have the staves skill. Non-adventuring scholars and alchemists are able to imbue staves with magical spells, and they might be cast at a later date. Spells imbued within the staff will affect the user and his group, may not be targeted in any way. Spells which may only be cast on oneself may not affect anyone other than the wielder of the staff. Staves may be freely used in combat, even if the spell within ordinarily may not. Staves have a limited number of charges. Okay, so we can use staves. We don't have access to any staves, so that's not really a useful skill to have right now. There's also scrolls. Well, let's just try and fight our way through, I guess. I don't particularly know a better way to do this. We lost our concentration. That's frustrating. We keep losing our concentration, just burning through our MP. Again, we lost our concentration. Well, at least we managed to kill the imp with a dagger. We've learned warmth. Wait, when did we gain? Did we gain a level? We did. We're level 8. Let's sleep while we wait. Warmth. With the spell, a fire scholar may place a rune of a hearth in their current location. Up to 5 people may concurrently sit, rest, or sleep at this place of shelter and receive a bonus to their mana regeneration. Okay. The rune will also serve as a fire for the purposes of scrying or fading from sight. Interesting. It lasts level per 8 hours? I'm a little confused. Reuse delay 5 hours. It seems to be some sort of thing that the fire wizard puts down, and it lasts quite a long time. Duration is level per 8 hours. I don't understand that, because the spells don't have levels. Or rather, they have... Oh, Imp has woken us up and is fighting us. Spells themselves don't have levels, however we have a player level. Am I to understand then that it lasts, because we're level 8, it lasts 8 times 8 hours, so 64 hours for one spell? Seems like an awfully long time for a fireplace spell to last. However, it did say we couldn't recast it until 5 hours had passed. So perhaps that is the missing piece. It seems we're actually hitting the imp with our dagger with some amount of frequency here, which is good. Perhaps we finally raised our ability to use the dagger just enough to have slightly more success. Although I say that and we've missed the last 5 swings. 6, 7. Okay. Yeah, we are hitting every now and then. Certainly seems to actually be enough to rely upon killing the imp. So let's cast our armor. We don't really have anything else useful. Burnout is not good because it will have our HP regeneration for a while. Inflame, I can't quite remember. What does inflame do? It makes some lights brighter. Increases our damage roll. Perhaps we should cast inflame. You feel inflamed. Alright, let's keep going. We'll see if our stab, when it lands, actually deals more damage now. It's still a feeble stab. Feeble stab. Wait, are telling immolate? What does telling immolate? Telling. Does that mean it was good? No help on the word telling. Perhaps telling means that it dealt more damage. We are at 80% on immolate. Suppose eventually we'll hit 100, and perhaps then we will be worthy of a mediocre immolate. Yeah, there's just not really much to do here. We simply have to rely upon getting a dagger stab, I suppose. Okay. Well, we'll continue going north. Finally, we're in a new area of the hallway. Unfortunately, surprise, surprise, we encounter another imp. I suppose we'll drop a couple immolates on him. An emerald greed imp dodges your attack with casual grace. Casual grace. It's not just enough that it was with grace, it was casual grace. He's not even trying. Oh, and in the middle of the fight, we have determined that we are hungry. It's a bad time to be hungry. Ah, finally. Well, let's open up our pack and eat a cake. I suppose we should rest here just a moment. Perhaps that's the strategy, actually. Is after each imp killed, we need to rest at the location to gain just a little bit back, and then leave before they respawn. Ugh, the ticks. Whoa, we're getting like 50 MP just for resting. Well, let's wake. Go north again. Wait, we can't go this way? What? Oh, we have to go east now. Oh, what do you know? Another imp. It seems partially that the success comes to understanding, or rather success in stat manipulation comes from understanding just to simply rest or sleep, wait for the ticks to pass. Statistics don't seem to increase unless a tick passes, so it's probably worth it to wait for an entire tick before choosing to move on. For example, here, we should just wait until the next tick passes, and then we can presumably gain even more MP from the matter. Yeah, like that. I can't remember, did we go west or east? Shoot. I can't actually tell, there's so much text. Let's just go west. Nope, that was the wrong way. Let's go east. My goodness, another imp. The Hall of Imps. Guys, we're gonna make it through this hallway. I will not accept less. Oh, that was a pretty quick fight. Your average immolation. Ooh, we're average. Average immolations. We're moving up in the world. Wait, what? Wait, we are no longer inflamed. An imp popped out of like nowhere. What's going on here? We like murdered that imp so quickly, and then another one just immediately comes and takes its place. Well, our telling immolation. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting so excited. It's so depressing to read, like pitiful and inadequate. Yeah, that was a weird. Like an imp just kind of popped out of nowhere. Are we hungry? No. We're not terribly far away from another level, but I don't know if it's particularly meaningful that we gain another level. Levels themselves seem most importantly the gateway that unlocks additional spells for us. That seems to be the most important part of gaining a level. Because otherwise, it's not like gaining a level increases immolate's damage. We don't really care. The extra HP and MP is nice, but we're never at the max anyway. So it's not like it actually helps us fight better. Or rather, what am I trying to say? It doesn't let us cast necessarily more spells, having more HP and MP, because we're just bouncing back and forth between less than our max and whatever we left to combat at. So looks like we can just hit the enter key to get a prompt refresh. Go ahead and wake. We're heading east, right? Well, we can't go east anymore. I suppose we'll go south. And yet another imp. How many are we on? Like, just on this one stretch of hallway alone. Like, not counting all the times we went back or rested, or rather left and rested. This is like 6 in a row. Something like that. Okay. Well, we're not actually increasing our strength, but for some reason the imps seem more manageable. Perhaps we're just, well, our dagger skill. What is our dagger skill looking like? 77. It's only increased 2% for 75. A pity. We should have really increased the dagger skill a lot earlier, because that would have we had about 4%, right? 44, so we would have had like 81% in dagger, which would have been nice. Oh well. It says we're thirsty. Perhaps we should wake and drink something. Ah, I will after the next tick. Waiting for a tick is the worst. 30 seconds is way too long. Oh my gosh. We waited too long. The imp respawned. "30 seconds probably makes a lot more sense when you're actually interacting with other players. It also is a decent way to prevent players from just doing things very quickly in your game. But still, doesn't it create an artificial sense of prolongment? Like, we're not actually having to... how to put it? Waiting longer does not make things harder, it just makes them take more time. And it is kind of nice that in that time that we wait while we rest, generally I'm like reading help files, learning more about the game. That part is nice. But what if you actually knew everything about the game? You know, at that point you don't have anything meaningful to do. You're just sitting around and watching your character constantly dip in and out of sleep like a narcoleptic. Narcolepsy is when you fall asleep randomly, right? I think so. Well, at any rate, we're gonna do it again, because we need that MP. 2 ticks seems to be safe, but waiting for a third seems to be too long. So, cat bells. We aren't entering a restful sleep. Or we are, but our thirst... I don't know. I'm wondering if our thirst is actually dulling the MP that we're gaining. So we're gonna open the pack. Take a jug. In your... right, we're asleep. Alright, wake. Open the pack. Take a jug. We're out. Wait. Take a pack. Wait, what? I can't... oh, shoot. Oh, no. The jug is out of water. We might be in trouble. Alright. I think we'll probably be fine. We just have to... I suppose we could recall, right? I feel like we're stuck here. Kind of like in the middle of this hallway. I was really hoping we were nearing the end, but it's hard to tell. Oh, but it says to the south is a marble stairwell. Perhaps we are near the end. Okay. Well, let's go south to the stairwell. Oh, thank goodness, no more imps. Our marble stair... Blech. A marble stairwell leads upward to the 4th floor of the Tower of Testing. The white stones of the 3rd level end at the entrance to the stairwell. Instead... Sorry, I'm a bit confused here. The white stones of the 3rd level end at the entrance to the stairwell, instead replaced by the iconic marble of the school's main level. The tile floor looks less worn and of a higher sheen, and the stairwell itself is polished to a high gloss. Arched windows look out onto the world at large, high enough to give the faint of heart a bit of a pause. The sounds of battle ring out from the floors above. The long hallway to the 3rd floor lies to the north. Well, I suppose we'll go up. We're in the marble stairwell. Ends at the doorstep of the 4th floor of the Tower of Testing. This entire floor is done in the polished black tile of the School of Heroes proper, and the walls are a high, glossy marble. The chamber which composes the 4th floor is the largest and most open yet, the great expanse of its floor composing a patterned relief of the school's iconic sigil. The air is cool but smelling of exertion, blood, and metal. Lanterns hang from the ceiling to illuminate the final steps before entering the floor. Down the stairs, the 3rd floor awaits. A plaque is inset into the wall at the top of the stairs. Well, we'll read the plaque. The 4th floor of the Tower of Testing will introduce you to a player-killing simulation. Obviously, you are not yet a high enough level to participate in actual player killing, so instead, you will face scripted, computer-controlled opponents. They represent a variety of classes, will pursue you, and will use rudimentary class powers against you. These should be the tower's most challenging opponents. In a true player-killer PK scenario, you can sense where your opponents might be using the Where command. In Avendar, this represents a sort of 6th sense that adventurers use to tell when others are near them. The opponents of this floor have been programmed to respond to Where as another player would, as well to see how far away other characters are in relation to you. Use the Scan command. The combination of these two commands can be very effective. Completing this floor can be quite difficult as some classes. Much like in real player killing, you can survive simply on awareness, patience, and cleverness. However, you can also challenge this floor's opponents and defeat them. PK is an important part of Avendar and largely unavoidable, yet it can be an enjoyable experience if one is prepared. Make sure to review your class skills or spells by reading their help entries to understand the extent of your powers. Very, very interesting. We'll go ahead and try to use that scan command. Scan north. Scan east. A large Chaja gladiator peers out with milk-white eyes. Oh no, we are extremely dehydrated. We'll have to recall. Oh, we're at the Altar of Balance. I recalled, but I don't know where we are. The Altar of Balance, this room is of the temple is walled with gray marble blocks and religious symbols of the gods of neutrality. Chanting of priests echo throughout the sacred halls of the temple, and people wander through the building. To the west is the Altar of Light. To the south is the Altar of Darkness. An altar of gray marble stands here. We need to hurry because we're slowly dying. Oh. Apparently we left the School of Heroes and we're for a moment outside the school walls. That's okay, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Right now we're drinking from the fountain. Oh, we already have the jug in our hand. Fill jug, fountain. Jug in pack, close pack. Okay, going north, down, west, sorry, east. No? Oh, I see, we're at the gates. Okay, north, down, west, north, west again. I feel like I've missed something. Okay, there we go. We are back in the Tower of Trials. I think that's actually a good place to pause. When we come back, we will be taking a look at the last tower, the one that simulates player killing, and see how our luck stands there. So, until then.